Yeah, that's how it works these days. Welcome back to Liquid Lunch. We've got Frank Pennate here from Pennate Construction. Frank, great to meet you. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Now, we were getting right down to the nitty-gritty of what PennCon does, and we should tell people what you do, just to give people a little bit of background before we get into some of the other stuff.
We've been in the concrete business for 28 years now, and we specialize in sidewalks, curbs, and we do a lot of site services and underground work.
So is this your father's company?
My father was in it for 40 years, but not. This is a company I started in '85.
Are you from Toronto originally, Frank?
Born and raised.
Okay.
Italian background.
You know, I had a friend. He used to work in the. He used to do work in the concrete.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good. It really is a good line of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not doing it anymore, but he used to do the curbs and the sidewalks and that kind of stuff down in Niagara. Yeah.
It's becoming like a lost art now. It's like nobody wants to do it. So behind my father's generation was people like myself, but behind us, there's really nobody else to pick it up.
Really?
So the demand is getting higher, and the skilled part of it for labor and wants to learn it is becoming very scarce.
Now, why is that? Because you'd think.
I think a lot of people want to, sit behind a desk with a tie and work for Coke or Pepsi, and
Or become, rock stars.
Yeah, that's it. And nobody really wants to get up at 5 o'clock and go out there and start shoveling around with concrete all day.
But the money's not bad, even
Money's
for a
very
laborer,
good.
right?
Very good money.
Well, what does a laborer make in that?
Our guys are at 28, 29 bucks an hour.
Whoa.
And then
Hello, I gotta get off here
Yeah,
and go look for a job.
She's getting in shape for the job, Frank.
Yep.
I heard. And then there's benefits that we pay for directly to them.
Wow.
So by the time you're done, they're about $34.60 an hour. Yeah.
That's great.
So it's been.
I mean, that's
It
excellent.
is a
You've
good
missed
deal.
your calling, mister. Well,
No.
he used to work at Stelco. Where'd you work?
Yeah.
Is it Stelco?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And my friend, he was working in the concrete, doing this exact stuff. Now, you mentioned, I'm just curious because that the season is really from April to when? November?
December.
December?
Yeah, and that's our high season, and it really, when temperatures hit below -5, -6, -10, you can't do
You
concrete
can't do
work
it?
outside.
Can't you put salt in the mix?
No.
Don't they do that with bricks? With water?
Calcium, no. Well, it's really not a recommended thing to do.
Really? No, I mean, they do it when they do bricklaying
Yeah,
in Sub-Zero,
but
right?
for our stuff, because there's more winter elements and salt that is always thrown on roads and and sidewalks during the winter, it'll just destroy it.
Yeah,
There'll be
yeah.
nothing left of it a year down the road. You have to do it all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
What
Well,
is
that's
the
good.
best surface to jog on? Is it cement or is it asphalt?
A treadmill.
Besides that, on the
rubber belt.
outside.
Actually, it would be asphalt.
And why is that?
Well, it's softer and it's easier on your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is it that when I was a child, there was very few potholes on the roads, and now as an adult, every time they repair the roads, it seems every year they have to repair the same area. Now, somebody once told me that it's because the material they're using now is not as high quality as what was 30, 40 years ago.
Actually, the products themselves have become more diversified, and they're actually better. But what happens is, I think what's happened is our global climate and weather change has made our weather temperatures here very aggressive now. And with all the salts that we're using on the roads today, I mean, our pavements take a beating. So no matter, I think, what we expose as far as materials are concerned, it's hard to hold up to all that.
Plus, I think the infrastructure's just getting older, right?
It is.
I mean, the
It
roads
is.
are getting older.
There's billions of dollars being spent on infrastructure every year.
Yeah.
And water mains, sewers, storm pipes. A lot of places are constantly being updated.
And you hear horror stories. I don't know if you've heard them about Montreal, Frank, about just the water system.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The sewers are leaking.
I heard that.
They're all leaking. So, like, all of a sudden, you'll have a big sinkhole open in your road because the
That's
water's
right.
washed all away.
And once water gets in, it's only a matter. It's like a silent killer. It undermines everything, and before you know it, you're in a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's stuff that has to be maintained regularly.
Yeah. Now, I know this is probably who knew that the interview was going to go this direction, but I'm just curious about concrete formulations.
Concrete formulations.
I don't even know why I'm asking that question, but have they made strides in terms of? Because I'll tell you, where I used to live, they had a cement plant,
Okay.
and they actually built a road. It was a test road, because at one point all the highways in Ontario were asphalt, and then when they built the 401, they said we're going to build it out of concrete because it's going to last longer. And they said they were testing different concrete formulations and stuff like that. Are there new kinds of concrete that have come out in the last 20 years that are more durable or something?
There's a lot of them, and one of the most popular MTO mixes that are used today is 35. It's a 35 MPa, which means it's got like 5,000 pounds of cement in it per square inch. Mm-hmm. So like it's very durable to weather conditions, and everything cracks.
Yeah.
As long as there's movement, doesn't matter what you do, or how much rebar or steel you put in there. Mm-hmm. As long as there's shifting, at some point it's going to crack. Yeah. But I mean, concrete is the more durable way to go when you're doing highways and roads and stuff. Yeah. It's more expensive too, though.
Yeah.
What are residential roads made of?
It's gravel and asphalt. Yeah.
So why are highways, you said, more durable? Shouldn't all streets be durable?
It's not like, well, there's transport vehicles going on them constantly. It's a different weight mass that's being held compared to residential streets.
Which lasts longer? Which lasts longer?
Oh, the highways will last a lot longer.
Then why wouldn't you want all streets to last longer?
It comes down to money.
Yeah, it's cost versus
okay, so
whatever.
It comes down to money.
Right, in the short term versus long term.
Yeah.
Fine.
Right?
Yeah. And you got to remember too, when you're on the highway, there's so you've got the transports going back and forth constantly. You've got dump trucks, all sorts of heavy vehicles going through there. You've got to keep that stuff up. And there's concrete under that asphalt. When you get into the municipal streets, in most cases, it's just asphalt on top of gravel. Mm-hmm. But here in Toronto, though, they do have a lot of concrete areas where the roads are concrete-based first, and then they're paved on top with asphalt.
What is Eglinton Avenue made of, since the Allen Expressway stops at Eglinton and all the trucks that you're talking about on the highway go on Eglinton right by my apartment building? So what is Eglinton made of?
I would say concrete road base and asphalt.
But you don't know. Is there a difference between the word concrete and the word cement?
I've always referred to it as concrete. Some people say cement.
I see, so it's the same.
It's the same thing.
Okay, good. That's always been a query of mine.
Okay, Frank, so people, when they, I think I've seen this sign, because when you do work, do you put the sign up?
We do put our signs up.
And so I've seen them. Where are people likely to see your work and your
At the
signs?
moment, we're working in Whitby, and basically we're at Roslyn and Brock, and we've got another site in Oakville. So, and right now you're not going to see anything because we're not working, because we're off because of the weather.
Right, that's
so,
great.
But come April, you will see them up in those areas.
Sounds
mostly.
like your type of job.
Well, I'm just thinking. It's like, I mean,
Seasonal,
he gets the winter off.
You make almost $30 an hour.
Because Frank's got a nice tan here.
With benefits.
Where did you go,
you can
Frank?
Get a
I was in Antigua for 2 weeks.
Did you wear a lot of sunscreen?
Not really.
You're not concerned about that?
No.
Mm.
No.
You will be in 20 years.
Yeah. You're the... Okay, Marla.
I'm the poster child for what not to do.
Are you? That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right, Frank, but you're doing more than just construction, right? You're doing some... we're involved in some charity work
I
recently.
get involved in a lot of charity work, and recently the most of it's been with the food bank, and I've been involved with the Hospice Vaughan, one of my favorite charities actually, and just this weekend I was involved with Caritas.
Now, what is that?
Caritas is an organization that helps people that are going through substance abuse.
Okay.
So I try and get involved as much as I can. I do a lot of church work as well.
And what's the Hospice Vaughan? I know it's a Vaughan area, obviously.
Yeah, and it really provides palliative care for terminally ill people.
That are at home?
Yeah, and for seniors. And it's a wonderful organization. It also helps people that have lost loved ones, parents have lost children, or children that have lost parents, make their adjustments.
Yeah.
Now, when you say you get involved in these different causes and organizations, to what degree do you or the company get involved?
per se with the food bank, besides donating money, at times we'll go down and offer some help. This year we've offered some of our vehicles to help distribute food if they need, to that extent. So it's not just writing a check, but sometimes we try and do some hands-on work as well.
Yeah.
Do you go to certain restaurants and get their leftovers of what they're not going to be using after that and take it to the food banks?
I don't do that. I've never done that.
Well, that's it. Restaurants keep telling me, "Oh, we give it to the food bank." I said, "Okay."
Like your muffin tops,
Yeah.
right?
But I'm not so sure.
Now, Frank, have you always done this, or was there like something that happened that caused you to start getting involved in this kind of?
It's just something I've done by nature, and obviously the scales change, but I've been doing more of it in the last 5-6 years than in the past, and it just, you feel good about it, and you know there's people that need help, and one day you might need help. You just don't know. So it's important that we're responsible enough to give back and put back.
And I can tell you officially, he needs help. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's right. I need help.
That's why I'm here. I was supposed to help out a little bit.
No, Frank, what do you think? Because remember there was a time then there didn't seem to be any food banks around, right? There was seemed to be less of a need for food banks, and it seems that there is more people that need this stuff these days.
And it's going to be even a greater demand for it, especially as food prices are going to be going up soon.
Yeah, where did you hear that?
Well,
I heard that too. Some conspiracy.
I actually
people.
heard it from from the people at the food bank. Their demands are getting more so.
Yeah.
And just to say, it's funny, I'm going to mention this, but I'm a huge Springsteen fan. And I've been to every concert since high school. And I got to tell you, at every show, not once did we not go to a concert and he didn't tell us or ask us to put money in the food box, because there's people that need a meal out there. And to this day, I still, it's the same thing. You go to a Springsteen show, at the end of the show, you're going to hear that. And everybody, sure enough, lines up to try and put whatever they got in that in those boxes. It's imperative that we continue to support it, because there's people that you would never would know that would need help, and at times anybody can run into a bad stretch.
Now, why do you think it's happening though? That it seems that there's more and more people finding themselves in that situation. I'm just curious.
I'm going to think economics at the moment. There's a lot of people out of work. We recently put an ad up to hire an assistant, and I got almost 400 people calling me for this thing, and you can't possibly even call everybody back. It's just the demand is so high, and I'm thinking also that from what I've been hearing, in 2010, corporations have reserved from putting money in to donate more compared to what they did the previous year. Now I don't know why people have cut back, but there has been a lot of cut.
You mean they're cutting back
on charities?
On giving to charities?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people's charity dollars have gone down.
I mean, I think it's just an overall money problem. I mean, companies don't have the money they used to have, so they have to cut back everywhere.
It is changing,
right?
And I think for me, I always try and manage to keep it the same. So whatever charity dollars we set aside in 2008, we're trying to put back in 2010 and 11, and hopefully years down the road. So, but just recently I was told that in 2010 a lot of people have held back. That doesn't help organizations like the food bank.
Like, what do you think? I mean, it's one thing to kind of give money to a charity, because of course but it's kind of like the food banks, for example. It's a bit of a band-aid solution. It's not a long-term solution.
No.
Like, in the long term, we want to get rid of food banks and get rid of the need for that, right? Do you see do you have any ideas about what it would take for us as an economy or a society to be able to eliminate this problem?
I honestly don't have an answer to that. Maybe Bono does.
Oh, he's got an answer, and it involves gin and tonics.
Yeah, but that's a hard question. I mean, for the whole city to be at that point of wealth that you don't need them anymore, and everybody has a job, and everybody's working, and everybody can pay their bills, I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So now you've got still some time left before you get back on the season this year, the
right.
concrete season. Are you doing any charitable work in the meantime?
Well, Saturday was my last one for now, because now we're going into our bidding season. So we're starting to hand in tenders for various municipalities for work. And so I'm going to have to reserve. And then come November, December, we jump into it again.
Okay.
That's how I manage it.
Because you're busy, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do with your free time?
Well, I go to the gym.
Yes. How long do you stay at the gym?
For an hour and a half.
Okay.
On average. I practice
Every day?
I try and go every day.
Mm-hmm.
I practice Bikram yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I do that once a week. I play hockey Sunday mornings. So I try and stay active.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I read. I like to read. And I do a lot of, right now it's mostly really tendering.
Yeah.
Because we have to try and load up the season if we can, right?
How's it looking?
It's competitive.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's always the same thing. We always worry about it intensely now, February and March.
Yeah.
How much work are we going to get? How's it going to be? Do I have to drop numbers? Blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. But, you know, we always end up with enough that sometimes come July, August, you're just going out of your mind trying to keep up with your schedules.
Yeah.
So it's a ritual that we get used to.
Now, is there anything in the way it's shaping up this year that gives you any idea about how the overall economy is going?
Well, I got to tell you, I think it's going to be a great year. There's a lot of work coming up, especially in construction, with the infrastructure, and with, you know, we're bidding an average of 3 or 4 jobs a week. So there's a lot of work. I think it'll be a great economy, and Canada will be one of the best countries to be involved with when it comes to economics, especially with the change of the dollar in the U.S. to here, and the investment that's coming into Canada. It'll create a lot of opportunity for a lot of people.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Okay, and any final thoughts you want to leave us with today, Frank? We're going to give out all your contact info and stuff like that, but any other words of wisdom? Or?
Donate.
Yeah.
Be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And be happy.
Okay.
You know, that's what I think.
And
exercise.
Exercise.
Find a good gym to do it in.
Yeah, get yourself in shape to go do
Find
some
a gym
concrete
that has
work.
TVs attached to the machines, and remember to wipe off your machine when you get on.
And
don't worry about getting off, except for those guys that drip sweat and then walk away and leave it. It's like disgusting. But then for sure you have to wipe your machine off.
Right.
I want to know if a residential house has cracked steps outside and they want it redone, would your company do such a project?
We do.
So you do
We
small
do private
ones as well?
Yeah, we do. We also do colored and stamped concrete. So we've gone to many people's homes over the years and have done patios and verandas.
Oh, that's
and
great.
Colored them and stained them and did them real nice.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
You'll
All
see
the more
that
reason to promote the
You'll
company.
see some of that stuff on our website if they visit.
Oh, very
All right.
good.
And what is the website?
It's www.penconcanada.com.
penconcanada.com, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, Frank.
Great.
Thanks. Great to meet you. Great to have this conversation.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank
good
you.
luck in the bidding season, and look forward to a great year.
Awesome. Thank you.